My very first book, Rimshots, is an excellent tool to teach creative writing in the classroom. It centers around basketball, it has a variety of different formats of poetry, and since it has photography, many of the images served as visual prompts for me that could also serve as visual prompts for your writers. In this video, I'll give you 3 different exercises to help you maximize using Rimshots in the classroom. The opening poem in Rimshots serves as the opening exercise. The poem is called I Remember, and it's basically a list poem. I simply repeated the phrase I remember, talking about memories from the past, from the present, with my friends, by myself, and it was all inspired by looking at the image of the little boy playing basketball. So what we're going to do in the exercise, we're simply going to take 5 activities or experiences in your life, and you're going to write them down. Now, what does that mean? Well, an activity is something you do, and an experience is something you may have done with a group of people. So an activity would be something like playing a sport, whereas an experience would be something like going on vacation. So you're going to write down 5 of them. Now, if you can't think of 5, that's perfectly fine. Ultimately, you're only going to choose one, but often in this exercise, people jump around. So it's best to weed out a few of the ideas first before you settle into one. Once you've settled into the one idea, then it's actually pretty easy. You're simply going to repeat the phrase, I remember, to describe different memories from that activity or experience. Focus on the details. It doesn't have to rhyme, and feel free to take a look at my poem that I wrote. If you want to go based on numbers to figure out when you're done, I counted 22 memories. So you can do that, but feel free to write down as many as you can. The next exercise centers around another list poem. This one focuses on excuses. Everybody has excuses for everything, so this is a really fun exercise. I got the idea when I looked at the picture of the basketball net hanging from the rim. The net is pretty messed up, and so I figured if you're playing and you were missing a lot, you'd be given a lot of excuses for why you were missing. So keep that in mind as we go into the exercise. So let's get started with the exercise. In Rimshots, the poem Excuses focuses on as many excuses as somebody could think of for playing poorly on the basketball court. This is a lot different. You're simply going to come up with as many excuses as you can think of for not doing your homework. Now, if you reread my excuses as they relate to basketball, you'll see they're pretty silly. So make sure you come up with some really silly ones of your own. The last exercise centers around a particular type of poem called a concrete poem. A concrete poem means simply it's a poem that's in the shape of something that you can see or touch. In this case, my poem Schools in Session is in the shape of an S because there's a lot of S's in schools and session. So a concrete poem simply centers around a particular shape. So let's write our own concrete poem. This one is called The Shape of Me. So all you're going to do is using the first letter of your first name, you're going to create a poem about yourself and put that poem in the shape of that letter. Now, what if your name starts with a difficult letter like a letter Q or a letter K? You can tackle that challenge if you like, or you can choose your last name or your middle name, something that's a little simpler. But the main thing is have fun with it. Come up with a unique shape. Start with your name and then go from there. Now, if you're trying to figure out what to write about yourself, use that same letter to come up with as many words as you can think of to describe yourself that start with that letter. So let's say the letter is S. However many words you can think of that start with the letter S, you can use that to describe yourself in a poem and then put it in the shape of the letter S. That's just a good starting point. The main thing with the concrete poetry is it's all about having fun. It's all about creating a unique little shape that looks really cool to read on the page. So have fun with it.